Uncle's going to drop us a nice little clever hint on the vague location of where our Pegasus boots are. And in addition to that, all of our runners will face having a boss carrying an item, not a dungeon item like a map or a key or a compass. It's going to be something from the item pool. And we see Uncle giving us a little boots are in the light world hint, so it's going to be somewhere on the light overworld for us here. All right, just a little bit of love from our uncle on the way out, and of course we have one other check we can make here. You are going to see the Dark Cross key somewhere between here and Dark Cross. Today we're seeing a Cane of Burna, a nice little safety item early on. It's going to give you an extra combat option even though you already have a sword. Yeah, I don't think the rest of this needs any more of a an introduction. If you've played The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past, you already know. We're going to go down into the basement of the castle, save Princess Zelda, and then escape through the sewers to the sanctuary. From there, it's smooth sailing across the world like a regular open. Yeah, the lamp. It is an item that you can find in the world. Now, you're not going to need a lamp as the game is very generous and gives you a light cone here. Yep, you have an assured sword in this mode. You'll get it as soon as you talk to your uncle. Now, in the escape sequence, they'll give you a light cone, so you can be able to see. And every other dark room, for example, the mountain ascent with the old man cave, that is going to be dark until you find the lamp. Of course, we did see 3 bombs in the first chest that normally has the map. That's good, because that means we'll be able to check the back 3 of escape before we leave. No need to come back, whether through the front or after we find a glove. And technically taking an extra little punch from the ball and chain guard. Gonna opt to pick up a couple hearts on the way there. Right, so we didn't see our Dark Cross key yet. That's gonna be in the sewers, because it has to be, or we won't be able to get out. I mean, the standard play in an open is you're going to go west into Kakariko Village after getting your 2 free checks in Lost Woods. It's interesting with a mode like this, if you choose to check the Aghanim Ledge, the tree on the Lumberjack. Some people will choose to do it early just to know whether or not they need to come back after a fight of Aga 1, and some people are going to think about whether or not they want to do it after they find their boots. Of course, the boots we got the hint was in the light world, so they might actually find them somewhere in Kakariko, and if we do, it makes moving around so much easier. Yeah, there are some pretty awful locations those boots can be. On the pedestal is one that chat's already mentioned. There's Mimic Cave is accessible through a mirror from Turtle Rock. That would be considered Light World. Graveyard Ledge. Hearing myself echo. Yeah, that would be could be Graveyard Ledge, could be K45. It could be Zora Ledge if we need to find flippers. In the off case that some of our runners might even know Splash Deletion, that would actually be kind of nice. Not a lot of equipment to do that with as of yet, but that could change in a hurry. Alright, my seconds for frame just skyrocketed, but I'm sure I saw a map and a heart piece in the back of Escape. And 50 rupees. Thank you to our tracker, Sokel2044. Also minded me giving us a little hand on the buttons today. And our last check here is an item, and it is going to be just another piece of heart. And an early map check, you've got a blue pendant on Eastern, a 4 crystal on Desert, a 7 crystal on Tower of Hera. So just a couple things. Yep, just a heart container in the Thieves' Hideout, just a piece of heart on the mushroom spot. Not a lot going on here so far. I'm seeing Aga is dying. I didn't get to see what was on the Lumberjack Ledge. Yeah, we are having some technical issues with Etinar's audio. We're looking into that as we speak. I'll take you through as much as I can here. And it looks like Blindside also not giving us a lot to work with. So far the seat's kind of been a little bit, I don't want to say dry. There's a lot we could look at still.
All right.
Are you with me, Etinar?
I am with you now.
Alright, let's fall into the well and, hopefully see a little help. We do see a Cane of Samaria. That gives you something. But no boots as of yet.
No, but we have bombos.
Alright, that early Samaria could be telling us something. We do have a 2-pendant Dark World. So it's very likely that those pendants, at least one, might be on Mire or Turtle Rock. There's your lamp, waiting for us in Chicken House.
Yes, and Michael does have the vanilla Link sprite. We can tell because he just turned the chocolate flavor.
All right, chat also letting us know we might have a glove. I didn't see where we picked up a glove. I would have guessed that it was in the well.
Yeah, it was actually the second chest in the well. Or no, I'm gonna say the third one because the second one we actually use a bomb to blow the hole. Regardless, it was in the well.
So even if it wasn't a stack of Rico, we have a stacked well. Not bad. Michael's going to give us a look at South Shore right off the bat here. Not a bad set of checks.
No, especially with the item density too. You know, very good path. You know, we've already gone through Escape too, and they really can't do anything on Death Mountain except for you know, get the old man.
Of course, the old man himself might have a vanilla mirror or something else that helps us out. The blind play of race game not paying off. Technolink deciding to do the mountain off the bat, it looks like. Oh, now we have some wholesale divergence. GFE is going over to Eastern. He's at least going to check out Sarashala. So to answer chat's question, what was the boots hint? The boots are in the light world. So they are somewhere here in the light overworld, possibly early, possibly late. Oh. This is a lumberjack check for Technolink.
What are we getting in the hut? 2 heart pieces and 50 rupees. Mini Moldorm giving us bow already, though.
And a flute. So not only do we get to move around at will, but we're going to be able to go in and clear out Eastern if we so desire. Eastern is, of course, a pendant. It's going to have 2 items in the front and 1 item waiting on Armos Knights. So we'll wait to see if Michael chooses to chase that.
Looks like a pile of sticks on the ledge over on Desert.
And GFE is going to beat us to the punch. He's already in Eastern, probably just going to look for those 2 items waiting for us in the front. Meanwhile, Technolink has given the old man a hand home, and unfortunately he found the roadblock in the form of dead rocks.
Ooh. It's very unfortunate, but it does happen far too often that the dead rocks just don't like you. Just one of those things. But let's see some 07s in chat, because the goose is about to be loose.
Yeah, with that earlier flute, we're going to see a lot of moving around quicker. Oh, there's your mirror, just sitting there in Spec Rock Cave. So now we can talk about Tower of Hera.
Yep, and we do have a fire source with the lamp, so we're not even worried if we have to go down to the basement in order to get the big key.
Technically setting up for this bomb jump to span the gap so we don't have to go back around up the mountain. And not getting it.
Hobson said just to save and quit.
Looks like we're going to see a Houlihan. Well, maybe not. Yeah, Technolink was setting up for a bomb Houlihan over the Sanctuary. You can also use it on the ledge right by the useless ferry if you don't have flippers. But instead, we're just going to go ahead and get the South Shore checks.
Which will get us our bow. So if they decide, you know what, I want to see whatever the item is on Eastern, they can. But we know at least we have access to Tower of Hera. So our runners can at least get one of the crystals.
Yeah, so far the seed proving to be generous in some places, maybe not in others. Got a couple options here between Eastern and Hera, but otherwise not giving us too much to work with. There's our first look at the Dark World. You have 5-6 on Swamp and Pod. Our other pendants are Thieves Town and Skull Woods, which means that Cane of Samaria is going to be hard required later on.
Right, and not only that, but we did also see that Green Pendant was Thieves Town, and since Green Pendant is Thieves Town, we can always grab there if we really are desperate for an item. We can grab it, the pendant over there, and turn that in and see whatever Sarashla is going to give us.
So, a map in the basement of Tower of Hera. Michael's going to have a look at this chest of the Biddle. If it's not the big key, we have to play through Tile Room, and it is. As Professor Renderer lets the bird out, and he's going to opt to go over to Eastern. Now, Render is going to be able to clear out Eastern with that bow, take it all the way to Armos Knights if he so chooses. Eastern is a pendant, but Armos will have an item.
And we just found Cape over in Tower of Hera. We already know that the map is going to be in the first room. And it looks like our compass is all the way down the bottom. So you know what? We don't even need to go down to the basement of Hera. Perfect for us.
You might not have to go to the basement of Hera, but that keep gives us the access to go fight Aghanim 1, as we can now pass the laser beam heading up the tower. And technically following suit, going over to Eastern instead of Hera. Now, if this is something like a hammer on Armos Knights, this would be a boon for our runners. Of course, we're still waiting to find a Moon Pearl. But
right, and I mean, that could be the item that is on Armos, too, is going to be, you know, our Moon Pearl.
And just 50 rupees for Moldorm, so not much waiting for us on the mountain other than that keep.
So
And
first blood has finally been spilled at 18 minutes and about 38 seconds.
And we see that GFE was back up and running. I didn't see where he was going for a second there. He was doing some fake flippers. Zora is in logic right now for our runners, and GFE does have 500 rupees. He can go pay off the big fish. Render right behind him with just 6 short. That's easy to catch up to.
Let's be honest here, though. When it comes to the big fish and paying off the big fish, I'd say it's roughly around a 90% time that you get absolutely nothing from the fish. He just likes to scam us.
I mean, you don't get nothing, but when it's 20 rupees, you get the smallest refund imaginable. That's what it is. Could be 10 arrows. That's some pretty expensive wood.
That would be some very, very expensive bundle of sticks. I would hope that they would be high quality.
That looks like the play for GFE. He is going to fake flipper to Zora. Of course, normally we talk about doing Waterfall Cave. In this situation, the only way you'd be able to do that is with the splash deletion. Unless we find a Moon Pearl here in Eastern. It's not on the table for us right now. I didn't catch that. Ice Rod is in its vanilla location. Excuse me, game? Is this even randomized?
I'm a little confused, but I'm okay. I mean, we needed it anyways for when we deal with Trinex, so good to know. And our big key for Eastern was also in its vanilla place as well. But it looks like Powder was on Zora Ledge.
See that? You can splash delete toward. And that actually might be something useful later on. If not just as a safety, it could unlock something once we have access to Magic Pad.
Renderer making very quick work of the dark room with the lamp. For those who don't know, with that lamp in the dark room, you could always hit the big guy, the one who holds the key, and it'll allow you to see his location in the dark. And I'm sorry, but did I see a quake from Zora?
You sure did. And there's a splash deletion from GFE. Very well done. He's going to pick up the powder. So we might need that quake. We do have 2 of the medallion entry dungeons required in the Dark World. If either one of them say Ether, unless we see it soon here, we might be having a hunt later on. Renderer taking care of Almost Knights and gets a heart container. Looks like we're going to fight Agadim early here.
I'm just trying to think exactly what... So if that's the case, that would mean that Pearl is probably on Pyramid Ledge?
It would kind of have to be, wouldn't it? Unless it was the item that we didn't get a good look at on the Lumberjack. In which case we still have to find our boots. Yeah, there's a number of things that we can still see.
And actually, now that I think about that Pyramid Ledge, if we have to, I wouldn't be surprised if it's either a hammer or even the hook shop, because those would give us access over to the right side of Death Mountain, which would give us even more checks.
That it would. The east side of Death Mountain has 8 full checks for us as soon as we have the access to it. A hammer gives us that. A hookshot as well. You could be talking about that book to go into Desert. And of course the Flippers checks. Waterfall Cave is considered Light World. So there's a number of different options for what our next progression item could be.
Renderer on his way to go take care of Tower of Hera. It looks like GFE finally getting the mirror. And Techno gonna go get the Ice Rod.
Very nice setup for that bomb jump for GFE. He doesn't have to go back around the mountain. He's just going to be able to go right to the Dark World and mirror right back out.
Renderer also getting his mirror too.
Yeah, the mirror is just nice to have in general. We know Swamp is required dungeon, so we're going to see the mirror eventually anyway. It's also a 5/6, so that could come into play later on.
I'm just wondering how long the game is going to, or rather this seed, is going to throw us around a little bit. Because at this point, we're already assuming AGA 1 is definitely required. We have everything that we need. As long as we go through Tower of Hera, we have everything.
Not just everything, we're kind of out of locations that we can actually check in the overworld here, so AGA 1 will end up being the last play. It's just a matter of when all of our runners are going to converge on that location. And to answer the question in chat, what sprite is Professor Renderer using? He is using the Hat Kid from A Hat in Time.
Michael making quick work of Armos.
That Armos quick kill is a beauty. It's something I need to learn still. Fun to watch, even funner to do.
And it looks like Michael is probably going to head over to Zora. Trying to save that AGA 1 for being like a last resort, which I don't blame on, for the runners. I completely understand and agree with that.
Oh, it absolutely makes sense. AGA 1 is a little bit of a time sink. If you can break around it any way you can, you do it. And if not, you're talking about a 6-ish minute tower climb just to get into the Dark World. And in this case, without a Moon Pearl, that's just to get one item.
GFE finishing off Tower of Hera.
Professor Renderer right behind him.
I don't know about you, but that Moldorm fight, I always get very, very worried whenever I get close to that middle part, right where Renderer was sitting, and he fell off.
Trolldorm striking again for us here. Yep, he'll do that. He'll do that many times in a run if he has the choice.
And for those who don't know about Moldorm, it doesn't matter how much damage you have dealt to him. Once you are knocked off, all damage is set back to 0 and you have to start over.
This is not the way you want to have to fight Moldorm either. With Fighter Sword, even having 11 hearts, this is kind of a rough go. No matter what you do, it's going to be 6 shots on Moldorm's tail, and anytime you fall off, you're starting right back over again.
I wonder if Renderer is going to decide, you know what, this time I'm just going to use the cape. Because at least this way, Moldorm will go through him, and it's a quick activation, so he would be able to save himself.
GFE making use of Bombo is going to, burn down these 2 ball and chain guards. They're pretty tanky, just like the one in this Delta Cell area.
Michael deciding, you know what, I have plenty of arrows. I can just use the arrows to kill them.
Yeah, chat's talking about the Armos skip on GFE's side. With the mirror, you can just go back after you clear out Pod later on if you so desire. But at this point, it's really only we know, but they don't know. Only beneficial if you find out there is an item waiting for you on that Master Sword pedestal. There's the Enrage from Moldorm. Does Professor put it together here? Ooh. Oh, he does with a poke. That is clutch.
Ooh, hugging that ledge. Hugging it. Not gonna lie, that had me on my seat a little bit.
Yeah, Enraged Moldorm is no fun if you don't have boots. Again, using the bombos to save a little bit of time. And one more here.
And luckily enough, the next room that he goes to, there's plenty of pots that he can just decide, you know what, I'm not even going to fight it, just going to throw the pot. Or, with that magic refill, forget that, we're just going to bombos again.
Nope, just throw 2 pots, it's faster. So GFE cleaning up and Michael right behind him by 1 room, now 2. And in just a moment, Professor Render is going to join the party in the tower. You see chat's already guessing how many blue ball attacks we're going to see from Aghanim 1.
What are you thinking?
I like 2, but I'm very kind both to myself and my runners, and I hope for 2. Then, of course, you miss 1 and it ends up being 4 or 5, so it could be anywhere from 1 to 15 here. Let's hope for a lower number. You want to go fast, right? That's the only way you can.
Oof, I just want to point out, Technolig using the B strat to avoid falling down that middle hole, but gets Moldor.
Looked like Aga had a lot of blue balls for us in that first cycle. The first shot is always going to be an energy ball attack, and then anything after that, it's fair game.
Now, mind you, and something I would love to point out to the chat, we have to hit him a certain amount of times. Now, that does mean since the first one's always guaranteed, in the worst case scenario, all 3 other shots would be nothing but blue balls. In order for that to happen, and the chances of that are happening, for that to happen, are very, very minimal. And since I've been commentating, I've never seen that happen.
All right, that's Aghanim down for GFE. So we get to bunny walk all the way to this ledge item and find out that today we are looking at flippers. Well then, our progressions in Waterfall Cave.
So that means Waterfall Cave has to have our Moon Pearl, which makes sense because we can't check Waterfall Cave unless we have the flippers if we don't have the Moon Pearl. If you fake flipper over to the waterfall and you have the Moon Pearl, you can actually glitch and check the waterfall itself. But without the Moon Pearl, which none of the runners had, there's nothing that we could have done.
I'm going to play a little not so fast on you there. It could very well be the Moon Pearl. It could very well be a hammer or a hook shot or a book. That flipper might just be leading us to yet another item.
It could. We could be on an item chase at this point.
Yes, we did have a check of the hobo. He didn't have anything good for us, as Michael is about to demonstrate. But GFE will be the first one to check Waterfall, so let's see. What's the seed going to give us here? And it is your Moon Pearl and a piece of heart. So now you're talking about Palace of Darkness. You have a bow but no hammer.
Right. And it's not like we have any other option for the Dark World. We're going to have to kind of dip Pod, or we can check Catfish. But those are basically our 2 options, logically speaking.
JFE smart, saving a portal right there by the pegs on the bridge. She's going to be able to walk all the way to Pod, no problem.
Michael also just grabbed his Moon Pearl.
Michael also now is probably going to go ahead and get that powder off the Zora ledge, since we have the flippers to do it.
Not like he'll really need it for any converting any anti-fairies into fairies, but it is a check that we will eventually have to do. And we don't have the mushroom, so might as well get the powder for the magic bat later.
Yep, and the magic bat is in logic as soon as we have the accessibility to get to West Dark World, which at this point only requires a glove or a hammer or a hookshot to go over the river. Alright, we find a shield as our first check-in pod, so we're going to have to go to the right side without a hammer. Of course, that mirror makes that a little bit kinder for our runners.
The ease of being able to port around wherever, going back to the beginning, making it so that we don't have to worry about the hammer pegs. We have bows, so we can clear through most of it. It's just that hammer, just to finish off pod.
Yep, all that really means is we'll be coming back later unless the hammer happens to be here.
Which is certainly a possibility.
Oh, chat pointing out Michael is just a little short on the entry requirement to get into pod. So he's going to pick up some dollars here.
And it looks like right side giving us 2 keys.
And GFE is going the full clear. He's going to check this big key location, which could just be a key. And it is. But there's your big key, so now you can get into Dark Maze no problem.
And now we still have the map and the compass that are still in one of the chests. So we're going to have to see what we get from these chests. Technolink also getting his Moon Pearl. That means all 4 runners now have Dark World access.
Looks like we'll see a hammer yum from GFE. And nails it, of course. And it's Mitts in the big chest of pod.
Well, now that means that we have so many more checks that we have. We have access to both left and right side of Dark World. On top of that, too, we now have access to see what's over near Misery Mire as well.
And not just for the information, Mire itself could be clearable with the item set that we have now, pending it not needing ether for an entry. Yep, that's provided that the boots are somewhere like Checkerboard Cave, that's right. Or the hookshot could both be very easy to get to here, depending on where they are. Or they could be, basically anywhere. GFE says, nope, we're done with pod for now. Need a hammer to finish up Helmasaur. It is a crystal, so we'll be back.
Right, and to put it in logic for chat as well, he did leave behind 1 locked door and 1 chest, but we know that one of those chests has to be a key at this point, and the other one has to be our map, so there's no point in him moving on.
Well, this is spicy. GFE fluting over to the Mire area.
I'm not surprised, to be honest with you. Might as well check, the Mire Cave, Siwa Pendant, Bombos, it looked like. And then we have access over to Desert Palace. So
And there's your hook shot. So Mire is accessible and completable now.
and at the same time too, we now have access to right side of Death Mountain.
On both sides of the coin, you can do the right side, and you can go check out Hookshot Cave and Super Bunny. The only thing we can't do right now is open Turtle Rock, as you need a hammer to do so.
Right, but we can at least check to see what kind of medallion that it needs, whether or not we're limited by the Ether Medallion, or we have exactly what we need.
Does look like GFE is going to take the option into Desert here. There's one item in the front, and you might find it boots locked. But that one item could still be something. If even as small as a sword would be a good help for our runners here.
I know, we're 41 minutes in, and we're still on the vanilla sword.
Well, there's your boots lock, as the big key is waiting on Desert's torch.
And we know that we're still in the light world. Magic Bat is still technically in the light world.
GFE making a spicy play to steal the key from the back so that we can see what that item is on the right side of Desert. The Illogic will not expect you to do this. You still need the boots to finish the dungeon anyway, but this could be something.
Right, if we're here, we might as well look. Michael finishing up from Pod as well. And is also going to take the same route that GFE went.
I don't know, Mire before Village of Outcasts seems to be a trendy play for this one today. And it's the Ether, so now all talks of can we get into this dungeon are put to bed. GFE saying, no, I would not like to go to Misery Mire right now.
And then Michael is going to find the fact that we are indeed boots locked. Hopefully we find these boots on the right side of Death Mountain.
They won't be. Death Mountain is considered its own sphere.
That's right. So now where are we? Where else do we have left in the light world for them to check for these boots?
Well, we have the pedestal. Right now that's not in logic until we find a fire rod to get to the back of Skull Woods. You have both Graveyard Ledge and Cave 45, your mirror checks. You've got your tablets, provided a sword and a book. And of course you have the lesser fun locations. For example, the shovel spot. And yep, could be on the powder as well. We can do that with a mirror. You would orphan your portal and have to go back to the Dark World after, but it could pay off if it is your boots.
And it could also be purple chest. As unfortunate as that would be.
The seed is saying, what was that? You want to go fast? There's your shovel! So that's a fetch quest that GFA might actually go ahead and chase sooner rather than later. Otherwise, not much else going on in here.
Only the bloomerang.
There's still a good 7 checks we can make. We get to go up Super Bunny Cave and go through Hookshot Cave, see the item on the island, and Spiral Cave. So it's actually 8 items we can look at. And yeah, Cyberchild pointing out in chat, the purple chest and the blacksmith, because they are locations you pick up in the Dark World, the game considers them Dark World locations even if you return them to the Light World. And a red shield for GFE in Super Bunny Cave. That's going to be okay for facing off against Blind, even though we already have a cape and a Burna, so maybe not as nice in this situation. Yep, Michael also opting to go up the mountain in the same fashion that GFE did. And I didn't see anything helpful in Hookshot Cave.
Technolink finding in the chess game only a bundle of sticks and 50 rupees.
The sticks are flying here as we had 30 in Hookshot Cave. We have 10 at the very least here in Village of Outcasts. But a couple more free checks for Technolink here. And just 20 rupees in Sea House. Alright, with this Spiral Cave check, that's the end of the line here unless it's a hammer. And it's just 20 more rupees, so we are done with the mountain for now. Literally nothing else we can check without a book and a sword or a hammer. And asking, you shall receive Technolink finding the book in the brewery in Village of Outcasts.
So there we go. All the tablets are now completely are going to be open once we get the Master Sword. But we're still on the vanilla sword.
It looks like Technolink's going to give Thieves Town and Skull Woods a pass for now. He's going to the dig game, and I would say right after that, a Smith Chain to play down into where Hype Cave it happens to be.
Dig game only giving us I'm sorry, not the dig game. Actually, yes, both dig sites are only giving us 5 rupees.
You hate to see it. 5 rupees on the dig spot, 5 rupees on the dig game. The shovel is made of nothing today. Oh, he's not even going for Smith Chain. He's going straight to K45.
He really wants those boots. And I don't blame him. I really don't.
Here's one for you. GFE is taking the shot for 1 item in the front of Skull Woods.
A45 not yielding us anything. What's good old Stumpy gonna give us today?
Stumpy, otherwise known as the Money Tree, just having 20 rupees for us once again.
Big key found for Skullwood.
A big key, a small key, a map. GFE striking out, trying to find that 1 item. And there's the compass.
So that means we either have a key or an item in this big old chest. Oh, and it's another key.
There's still 1 more key you could probably find here, too.
And if he finds the key in this next part, that means that the 1 item that is in Skullwood is Fire Rod Law.
I've seen the hammer in this location before. It's bitten me a couple of times. You would hate to see it here now. And it's just another key. Both items are in the back of Skull Woods.
Technolink, gonna check out the magic bat.
I curse you with this 1 rupee! Yeah, nothing doing here either. And for the second daily race in a row, I think we're going to see another flute to 7. I would point out something we haven't discussed yet. Ice Palace is in logic with that Bombos with the Mitts pickup in Pod, so that might be something that our runners choose to do sooner than later as well. You get a sword off of the old thief in the desert there. That gives us the ability to check our tablets.
Right, so now all of our tablets, especially with Technolink having the book, are now all checkable. He's going to probably go and once again discover something that we already know, which is Desert Palace is boots locked, but our boots are actually on Graveyard Ledge.
And just like that, GFE has unlocked the ability to move fast. And with that, he's going to be able to go ahead and get these 2 checks out of the way as well, if he so chooses.
So we're still missing a fire rod. We're still missing the hammer. And that's really it. Those are the 2 items that we really need.
Yeah, hammer can't be on pedestal in the case of Thieves' Town's key logic. So, we already know that Skull Woods can't be accessed without a fire rod, so fire rod can't be there. That doesn't leave us many options.
GFA saying, you know what? I want to check Catfish. Let's see what the great Catfish has to offer us today.
If you think about it, there's really no good time to do Catfish if you already have the rest of your Flipper checks and Zora done. So if you're in the area, since you've just done Graveyard Ledge, get it out of the way.
Right.
Technolink, meanwhile, is going to have a look at what's on the bumper cave. It is just 5 rupees.
And
not a lot of help.
Catfish is only giving us 20 rupees, so...
So what you're telling me here is Catfish and Zora traded locations for once?
Yeah, which is a little questionable, if I'm being totally honest.
Having a little bit of extra dough in the pocket, GFE is going to upgrade his storage capacity for bombs and arrows, max out on both as well, and Technolink's going to find his boots. That is the Meyer play for GFE. Here he goes. He might opt to do Desert here first.
And Renderer giving us our first look into Thieves' Town.
Now, if Thieves' Town has our hammer, because it very well could.
It could, and you know what? Thieves' Town is a green pendant, right? Which means that Sarashala himself could potentially have it.
Sure could. The requirements for this dungeon aren't exactly too strict. So all intents and purposes concerned, this is actually a down logic play for Renderer. Well, up logic, rather. I'm so backwards. I do everything backwards.
And our dive into Misery Mire, and I know that a lot of people actually aren't a fan of Misery Mire, with the whole dungeon layout. But what are your opinions on it?
I think Misery Mire as a vanilla dungeon was presented to be a little bit more complicated than it ever needed to be. And in Rando, you just break it over one knee and say, okay, I'm just going to take you out when I can. Render has not yet found the small key. So it's very likely that that big chest in Thieves Town is not something to talk about here.
No, but the hammer's already found in Misery Mire.
Oh, no. GFE with the play, finding the hammer in Misery Mire, that gives you pretty much the rest of the world to talk about here. That means the only item we are looking for now is a fire rod, and we're talking about go mode.
And you know, it could very well be that our fire rod is also in Misery Mire.
Yep, Vitreous will have an item. With the loadout that GFE has right now, that's not going to be a comfortable fight.
It's completely
But it's not one that can't be done.
Yeah, it's completely possible. It's just going to be a very interesting fight.
Yeah, the bombs will do Master Sword damage to any of those eyeballs in front, so that might be what you consider to be why he picked up the upgrade.
Technolink, on the other hand, deciding, you know what, we're going Desert Palace. I know that I could get into Mire, but I'd rather do Desert Palace first, which I completely understand.
It makes sense. With Lamulus having an item, it could have a sword, it could have our second bow. Anything that makes Mire a little bit easier to traverse. You're going to have to do Desert anyway, as it is a crystal. The order you choose to do them in doesn't really matter here. And we can put that to bed. We have no mode on the stream as Michael has gone to Hype Cave and found the fire rod.
There we go. So we are officially in no mode at 57 minutes and 45 seconds.
On the right side of your screen are two runners that checked purple chest and got a sword from Gary the Thief. On the left side, GFE is about to do a fighter sword Vitreous. And Professor Render is about to take out Blind.
Right, which, I mean, at the time, you know, it was still a really good idea, you know, and for all we know, too, the green pendant could be another one of our swords.
And just as the vanilla game intended, you have Ice Rod strats for Technolink on Lamulus. Just a shot short, though. And it's our third bottle on Lamo. Not a lot of help.
Nope, but Renderer did take care of Thieves Town, so he does have the green pendant. And GFE is about to do this fight. Oof, I feel bad.
I don't feel too bad. They have blue mail. It's about roughly where you would be in terms of health in the vanilla game, depending on how thorough you were at picking up heart pieces. Yeah, the bow makes this fight a little bit nicer. That is why he picked up some upgrades. Each one of those eyeballs will take 3 shots. Vitreous himself will take 8. We're going to be a little bit short of that, though.
GFE saving the 8, so this way he can definitely take out Vitreous.
Yep, now he has to bait that eyeball out and do some fighter sword spins, and that's the last one down. Oh, missing the first shot. Now pull out that trusty old hammer. Hammer will do sword 3 damage.
Right, but that means Vitreous is down, but he only gave us 20 rupees.
And a Renderer opting to do Smith Chain. Probably once again down to Hype Cave. He'll get a Fire Rod if he chooses to do so. That might lead him away from the hammer if he opts to go to Ice Palace first. Or worse, Skull Woods.
Right, we have 2 items over in Skullwoods. We already know exactly where all of our shields are too. Obviously, we can already see that we have the mirror shield on Michael. And Techno Link and Michael getting the hammer at the same time? Exchanging a brief high five?
There's one thing Technolink has that Michael does not, and that's a pair of running shoes. And now done with Meyer, GFE is going to go take care of Lamulus himself.
So, if you were, let's say, in GFE or Michael's case, right? Where would your next dungeon be?
I mean, not having the Fire Rod, but having the hammer, I would still go ahead and take Ice Palace out.
Well, mind you, Michael does have the Fire Rod. He just doesn't have the boots.
That is true. And the boots aren't in a very friendly location, being isolated in Graveyard Ledge, so that might be something Michael may take a while to go back to. I still say, in Michael's case, having the Fire Rod, I would consider doing Ice Palace before making any isolated checks like that.
Right. You might as well clear out what you know that you can clear out. You have Ice Palace that you can go and completely take care of. There's in his case, he could go through and think, I still need possibly the mushroom, and then take care of that.
We also haven't done our tablet checks yet. You have Bombos and Ether. And, with the Light World locations being pretty much, just a handful, there are not a lot of places that Michael's thinking he can find his boots. So getting progress done in the meantime, that might make moving around a little bit easier in terms of doing dungeons. There's another dungeon we haven't talked about that our runners can clear now with the hookshot and the hammer. That is Swamp Palace.
That's true. And then we could see some fun, we probably will see some fun diver downs. And, with Ice Palace as well, we're probably going to see an icebreaker too.
And we are going to see the Phantom Chest glitch from Professor Renderer, which will allow him to preserve a portal and at least read what's... Well, no, actually, with the sword, he'll be able to check what's on the Bombos tablet and receive what could be another sword. But now we're seeing GFE is going to go back and finish out Palace of Darkness.
So now that we're a little over an hour into this restream, I would like to give a shout out to all of our runners today. They do a great job, and they are and all of our runners, those that you see and those that you don't see, are very, very skilled. So please follow our runners, show them some love. I would also like to take some time to say thank you to our trackers, Mind of Me and So Cool, both doing a great and fantastic job at tracking everything today.
And of course, a shout out to Etadar, joining me on the commentary today for what is one of my favorite modes.
And shout out to Zaru for also being here today and hanging in with that little audio problem that we were having earlier in the stream.
All right, with Meyer down, let's see where Michael decides to go next, as he doesn't have the boots to finish up Desert. So he's pulled out his flute, and he's going to... looks like he might decide to go make a couple checks here. Pet Cave is one, Shovel's another.
Michael's probably going to do... he's going to do Magic Bat first. And then after that... I mean, you hope that he goes to clear. Here in Kakariko, might as well just go to Skull Woods. See if there's any items over there.
Yep, Professor now having his fire rod. He's going to go clean up. Well, has he gone to Pod yet? No, he's going to go turn in that green pendant, because he's the one who did Thieves Town.
Right.
Speaking of Pod, GFE facing off with Helmasaur King. This should be a relatively simple fight here.
And mind you, GFE taking him down with just the vanilla sword, too.
Gonna see a few pounds of the hammer. It is 4. Here comes the third one. And Helmasaur gets knocked to the ground. One thing we didn't mention, here we have Technolink in Ice Palace.
Yep, we have Technolink in Ice Palace, and we had a sword fall from Helmasaur.
So for GFE, that is his Master Sword, and the third sword that we know about on the stream. Not bad, not bad. Not a bad place for it. You get pushed into it. So no Master Sword Silverless discussion today.
Michael going for Ether Tablet. And gets a bundle of sticks.
I'd be willing to guess that's probably not what he was hoping for.
I would certainly... You know, it's one of those things where... And now he's checking right side of Death Mountain. But I believe he was already over here.
He might be making a Turtle Rock play here.
Ooh, yeah, we could, because we have everything we need for it.
Alright, GFE is going to get his fire rod out of Pipe Cave, and Professor Renderer is chasing the fire rod into the back of Skull Woods. We know this is both items. Yeah, with that fire rod pickup, GFE is in go mode if he's willing to do Master Sword Silverless. He doesn't know, but we do, that he has another sword waiting on the purple chest. And a fourth one out there somewhere.
Oof. Renderer having a hard time with enemies running in the line of fire.
So Renderer is going to have to do either hammer or fighter sword strats, because he'll have one shot with the fire rod, unless he's got a potion in the pocket. Now everything in this fight with Blue Mail is going to do 1 full heart of damage. He does have a green potion from the one we picked up early.
Right.
So that's going to be very nice.
And actually, he should have 2, because there was one from early on, and then we had another one from the dam as well. Yep.
This kind of works both ways, too, because now you can replace your green potions with blues when you go back to the potion shop later on.
Right, and it's not like you're wasting a potion at that point. Having a hard time against Mothula.
Just a swipe or two or a spin should do it here. And GFE has made the dive into Swamp Palace.
And Cold Stare is being fought by Technolink as we speak. Mothula is dead. Don't take any hugs from Colt there, Technolink.
Now this is interesting. Professor Renderer has all 3 pendants, and he may choose to pull that pedestal right now.
And Colt there is dead.
Yeah, we're about to see a little diver down tech from GFE. That King of Samaria getting in the way a little bit, actually. To answer a question in chat, the Thieves Town Big Key did self-lock behind the door that is the big chest.
And Renderer going to do a blind head pull.
If this is our 4th sword, this could actually be good for Renderer, because a lot of our runners might skip to do purple chest this late.
Right, and it looks like we had another bottle, by the way, in Swamp.
This is it! The Master Shroom! If you needed a reason to go back to Potion Shop, Renderer has it now.
The Shroom to hopefully not be bombs.
Have we seen both green rupees? I think we did.
Yeah, we have, I believe, seen all green rupees. Technolink now about to grab his fire rod.
It's 10 sticks on the mushroom.
Even worse than bombs. Oh, poor Renderer.
Alright, GFE using some fire rod and spins to take out Argus. Very clean fight there. And Renderer making the right call, not having too much left to do. He's going to go check Mire Shed and probably step into Misery Mire. Well, we have Mimic Cave on the screen for Michael, which means he's pretty much on his way through Turtle Rock here. And Mimic Cave showing us today that it is not our boots, because it can't be.
Technolink going to be going now to Swamp.
Alright, chat letting us know Michael did find the 2nd bow in Turtle Rock, because of course it is. So we have silvers going into that Ganon fight now.
I mean, that's going to be great for our runners, you know? We have silvers. Even if we have tempered or master sword, should be perfectly fine. But actually, at least for Michael and for Technolink, that means that they should be going in with at least tempered. So they still haven't completed pod, and we know that Helmasaur has one of our sword upgrades.
Right, so no matter how you slice it here, the Ganon fight's going to be a little bit kinder than usual. Ooh, we see that the last cave for this dungeon is going to be on Laser Bridge. Now, where that silver arrow drop ended up being will very much be either a blessing or a curse for our runners, as, you know, with not a lot of checks left to make, if it's somewhere like Lava Chest, you're just going to seal the key. You won't find that 2nd bow.
Right, they may just decide to skip everything altogether and just, you know, move on.
That's the reason they call it go mode, because once you're in it, you just go, go, go. Chat telling us that the Vanilla Big Key location in Turtle Rock was the Vanilla Big Key, in which case I would imagine all of our runners end up finding silvers.
Yeah.
See, Technolink and GFE have traded places.
Half Magic also on the bridge.
And the key in the 4th check.
Of course
having the mirror shield to make it easy.
Oh, and of course it's on the last one. It's always on the last one. Technolink showing us the other way to do Diver Down, by the way. So there are 2 ways. You can either bomb off of a specific pixel, or you can use the Cane of Samaria. Personally, I like the Cane of Samaria. It's a little bit easier for me to do.
Yeah, but like with the Ice Palace bomb jump, it's good to know those bomb setups if you want to save yourself a little bit of time. Because while you may not always have a cane, you'll always have those trusty explosive blueberries in your pocket.
Exactly. especially with Ice Palace too. You know, you can always go get the bomb upgrades right before you go in it, so might as well.
And some hammer Trinex for Michael. And Michael's just going to opt to use Half Magic and Master Sword for the other head. Not really a bad choice.
Nope. Now time to go after Trinex himself.
I didn't see if Renderer went to check the first two obvious checks in Meyer, so he doesn't have a hammer yet, does he?
No, he's actually about to go get his hammer. After he does this room, he'll most likely go right, which will be our hammer. But Trinex is dead for Michael.
And Trinex, just like everything else in this game, has a bundle of sticks. Alright, not too much left to talk about here. For GFE and Technolink, Techno still has to finish up Pod, which shouldn't take too long. And then they both have a Turtle Rock climb before they're talking about going into Ganon's Tower. Now Michael still has not located his boots, so he can't finish up Desert yet.
Right, he needs to go check that ledge. And obviously we can say all this because we know exactly where everything is. But we just gotta send him that juju. GFE finishing up his fight with Cold Stare. That means he has Trinex left, and once he defeats Trinex, that'll be it. He'll be in Ganon's Tower, and then we get to play a fun game.
Now, Professor Renderer is still going through Meyer. He's getting the bad news that that big key is in his vanilla location. And he's not even going for it. He's going to go check the right side chest first. Oof.
And GFE gonna take a stop to go get some blue potions.
Oh, Michael making the call to get Graveyard Ledge out of the way, and he will be handsomely rewarded with a pair of boots. So the only other thing that any of our runners could possibly want right now would be another sword. And Technolink is going to get that when he faces off with Helmasaur King. But for the other three, I mean, Michael still has Pod, Redder still has Pod, GFE is committed to Master Sword at this point. Unless Sword 4 is either in the tower or somewhere he can just get on the way.
And to go based on, by the way, with what you said with Sword possibly in Ganon's Tower, with the amount of checks that they have left, usually in a regular seed, I would say that it's most likely in Ganon's. Thanks to the checks that Renderer did, I'm almost going to be certain to say that it's in Ganon's Tower. The only question is it going to be early or late?
And with that, the question will be, is the key going to be early or late? If you see an early big key, you might not see all the checks in the tower, no matter how you look at it.
That's true, but you know, we're going to see a lot of sticks. I'm just going to say most of those chests will probably be sticks.
Helmasaur skittering around a little extra, but Technolink just pumps some arrows into that crystal on his head, and down he goes. A tempered sword for Techno.
Our first tempered sword.
And Render's got to be careful down here in Mayer's basement. He's got half of a heart to work with.
I don't know about you, but if I were Renderer, I probably would have gone after that anti-fairy just to be on the safe side.
Instead, we see him trying to set up spooky action, and he does get it off the spike. Yes, indeed, that is the shiniest of Dragonites. Technolink playing Dragonite, and the blue male skin for him is the shiny equivalent. We see red male, you'll get to see a shadow Dragonite instead. Dragonite definitely my sprite of choice whenever I do run. Plus I'm running Mystery, then you pull out Phoenix Wright because why not? The silvers were in Chain Chomp chest, so no matter what, you were going to check it.
Yep.
Cool, cool. So once again, Renderer having just half of a heart has to watch his fire snake.
Ooh, that fire snake is coming.
And he gets nipped by the bubble, and instead he's got to start all the way back at the start.
Ouch.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we're not going to see in this run. We're not going to see our runners do Ether Tablet or Spike Cave. Probably won't see the left side of Swamp, as most of our runners will be in Go mode by the time they get there. We did see the Pendant Dungeons cleared up by Professor Renderer, so we know there's not a sword there.
We've already visited Hookshot Cave, Super Funny Cave.
So the number of checks that can have a sword are not very large, but they're also not very friendly to what GFE is currently doing.
Right, and I mean, the other thing too to look at is, you know, we do have 3 of our runners in Go mode. Renderer, being so close to Go mode, just needs to check the graveyard ledge and then will be in Go mode.
Now, I am seeing some interest. If you have not played a randomizer, the Ambrosia is one of many different modes that you can try out. Just go to ALTTPR.com for instructions on how you can get your own seed. Or visit the Link to the Past Randomizer Discord, and there are a number of friendly faces and resources that you can use to have your randomized journey begin.
And you can find a lot of information there on the Discord too. You can find people talking about different routes that they take, different glitches that they do. Really is a whole big resource of information. Very highly recommended to anybody who is interested or does any of the randomizer runs. Just a great community to really be a part of.
All right, Michael dispatching Cold Sear, doing what I like to do with that half magic. Use the bombos to cool them off, or if you don't have half magic, use bombos. Of course, with the fire rod and half magic, you just use half your meter for that and half the meter for the fight. Technolink with only 2 hearts pulls out the Cane of Burna to get himself out of harm's way here, and he'll pick up his silvers.
Technolink must be super happy seeing those silvers.
And the key for GFE at the bottom chest, so he'll go face off against Trinex. Now Renderer's round 2 in Meyer went a little bit better, so now here he is with a face off with Vitreous, or the Master Sword.
And Vitreous for Renderer will now come out to play.
And by play, you mean get poked in the eye by 8 arrows.
Oh yeah. Alright, chat. Here we go. Our Trinex fight with GFE. one head down.
A little more Hammer Trinex action. Of course, Fire Rod Master Sword will take care of it just as well.
The second head is down.
So to answer the question in chat, we have no idea where our fourth sword is. For those of us on Master Sword, they have a sword pickup at Palace of Darkness on Helmasaur. For GFE, the sword that he did not pick up was on the purple chest. And GFE is going to have to be a little bit careful here.
Oh, he's got blue potions if he really decides that he wants to use them.
Oh, he's going to use that cape and get a couple easy swipes in here.
And that is it. Trinex is dead, so we get to play my favorite game.
Do you know what time it is then, folks? GFE 12 has 7 crystals. He's going to enter Ganon's Tower. Anywhere between 1 and 22 of the checks in Ganon's Tower's basement could have our big key. Whole number integers only. If you feel like trolling, you could say 22. 22 is the trendy tile room pick. A lot of people like that one. Do you have a number you like, Etzanar?
Usually I'm the guy who says 22 for tile room, but I feel bad on this seed. You know what? I'm gonna say lucky number 13. What about you, Zaru? What do you think?
I like the mid-range as Renderer goes to Pet Cave and finds his swag net. Totally need that to finish, right? I like to go around somewhere around the 15 to 18 range a lot of the time. I like to see some checks. I like to see how different people handle going through the tower in different ways.
Right, whether or not people decide that they want to clear all left, right, or want to do a mixture of the two and do more of a magician's trick.
Well, let's see. GFE is going to give us a look at said magician's trick, I think, because he's going left side first.
And to inform people who don't know as well, we do need at least one key before entering the top of Ganon's Tower. So it is advantageous of our runners to grab the small keys.
Yep, Technolink picking up the other items and taking a Death Warp before facing off with Trinex.
Alright, so that would be our 5. This torch does count.
He also picked up the key off the torch. And now for Renderer, he's going to get his boots, and that's probably some information he didn't want to see at this point.
We have all the small keys, but no big keys so far in Ganon's Tower. We are at 7 so far.
So yeah, Technolink's going to have a little easier time with this Trinex fight as he has Tempered Sword in hand. So no hammer strats for him. You know, didn't mention it, but Michael dispatching Argus. Now all he has left to do is taking out Palace of Darkness, and that is in and out.
Right, especially since he already cleared it. There's 8, 9.
Big key in Compass Room, and we're going to get these other couple checks just in case, but no sword to be found. GFE is committed to Master Sword with Silvers, and he will go up Ganon's Tower.
We do have 2 people who did guess 9. Phantom SVT guess 9. We also have Madib. I probably pronounced that wrong, butchered your name. I am so sorry. But congratulations, you both got it. You really don't win anything except bragging rights, the fact that you got one.
Renderer just topping up on magic before he goes into Ice Palace is what I would assume he does next.
With 4 keys, by the way, going up top to Ganon's Tower, we don't really have to worry about the mini Helmasaurs or getting any keys from them. So GFE is just gonna go straight up. Doesn't have to check any boxes, doesn't have to check anything, can just go.
I would imagine that he's going to still check those last few locations, just on the off chance one of them has a sword for us.
Right. And, you know, in case he just happens not to get it, all of our runners can, by all means, beat Ganon with Master Sword, you know, Silverless. They're all really skilled enough to do it, so I'm not even worried about it. The only thing that I fear would be if they fall off the ledge when fighting Ganon, because it only takes one fall, and that could change the course of your run.
Get the silver arrows pulled out for Land Mode 2 for GFE. And if you don't powder that bunny beam in the previous room, they'll always spawn that little triangular formation, making them pretty easy to pick off one shot at a time. Technolink also opting to go to Compass Room early. He's going to pick up a key, and I would imagine he goes up the tower as well.
Yep, so far, it looks like the way that we're progressing, this is GFE's round to win with these runners. But like I said, if he falls off, Technolink does have the Tempered Sword. It will take less hits for him when it comes to our glorious Pig Lord Ganon.
That 13th heart will be a little bit of a nice comfort there going into the fight as well, as our runners are only on blue mail. Of course, we are used to having a little bit less to work with, so that's fine as well.
Michael completing Pod, so now he'll work his way up to Ganon's tower.
And Render's still got a little bit of work on his plate after he finishes up with Ice Palace. He still has to do Swamp. He still has to finish up Desert now that he has the boots. And of course, he's got to go through Turtle Rock as well. Taking a fall to Moldorm. Again, Moldorm is called Trolldorm for a reason. But the hammer's going to make this a little bit nicer too.
Oh yeah. And for those who don't know too, when you do charge up your sword, and he does a swing attack, that will also hit as if it were a Tempered Sword as well.
And the final chest having for us, my favorite item in the entire pool, the Arrow of Destiny. Yeah, that'll be the arrow that slays Ganon for sure on this one.
Oh yeah.
Just notch that 4th in your quiver. That's good. Now, Technolink is a little bit low on HP. He's going to powder that bunny beam, and he'll have... not too much different, but that 3rd one is in a weird spot. Yeah, of course, Lammo 2 is an absolute pushover with silver arrows, so out of the way there.
Yep, and we're playing Geometry Wars with Aghanim 2, and that's it.
Was that a 3-cycle? I think it was.
No, there was a 2-cycle, but I believe he did do a 3-cycle. But now we go to fight our Pig Lord.
Now, taking Master Sword to Ganon, not exactly it's a risky proposition, but if you're a little bit newer to the game, again, our runners are very seasoned. They're not going to have any trouble. He doesn't take damage from a slash. You're going to have to do spins on him. So this will be 12 spins for phases 1 and 2, followed by 4 spins for phase 3, and to make him vulnerable, a spin in phase 4. And that's a great place for Ganon to be sitting in the corner, allowing you to get some nice doubles on him.
And I believe he will be going into phase 2. Yep, and here is phase 2, using the cape and keeping close to the wall, so this way he can keep doing doubles. Which means we should be going on to phase 3 relatively soon.
Yeah, he almost got 6 clean doubles there, but he just missed the last one. So that's the 12th spin there, and after this round of fire bats, phase 3. And of course, Technolink making very quick work of Moldorm, not even checking that arrow chest.
Oh, he doesn't get our arrow of destiny.
And let's be real here, he probably doesn't need it with 17 other arrows sitting in his quiver. Michael has started his climb. He is in Mimics 2.
And GFE onto the last phase of Ganon. Gets the fire glitch.
I don't think he was even aiming for the torch glitch. He had that second shot ready to get the second torch just in case.
Ooh, and then just missed on that one, but that's fine. Just needs one more hit. And that is it. Ganon has been defeated by GFE. Now all he needs to do is cross a 1x3 bridge, and that is it for GFE.
Let's get those GGs in chat. GFE will finish first on our restream and third overall, clocking in on race time with a 1:36.58. And Technolink right behind him falls into the pyramid hole. Let's have a look at his fight.
Now the fun part about this, by the way, is with the Temper Sword, we don't need to do the spin. Obviously the spins will help, but we don't need to. All we need to do is just keep attacking.
All right, we are joined by GFE12 in the chat. GG.
Hey, thanks. GG's.
GG. So, what did you think of this seed?
I mean, it could have been a lot faster than I made. The flippers was kind of funny. I don't know. The one thing I did feel bad about in this, doing the front of Skullwoods, which in Ambrosia, when the other item is also in the back, it's kind of rude. But I mean, otherwise, I felt pretty good overall. I didn't need to necessarily go to Catfish, and I would have done Mire actually the first time I was there if I hadn't have found Hookshot in the Mire shed.
Right.
Well, I guess I couldn't have because I wouldn't have had boots yet, but...
Technolink actually just finishing as well. And Michael almost finishing up GT. So, one thing, when you were going through Eastern, right? What made you kind of stop and just say, you know what, I'm not going to take care of Armos?
Well, I mean, I didn't have bow at the time, so I got my 2 items. I knew the third was on Armos, so I was out. I was pretty salty when I saw the bow later, but I guess it ended up actually saving me time.
Correct.
Yeah, Armos ended up having a big ol' nothing for us here today. That is Technolink joining us in chat with his 4th place finish. GG Techno.
GG. I'm very happy with my time.
Yeah, I mean, I was so salty about that bow after I'd already dipped Eastern that I was not about to go back. It was ag or nothing for me.
Yeah. I actually went into Eastern after finding bow because I couldn't get the bomb jump on Tower of Hera. I also would have just gone Tower of Hera and then straight into Aghanim. But since I failed the bomb jump in after getting the mirror, I decided, well, let's just do the rest. And then I found bow and then we just, well, it all went from there. But yeah, Armos had nothing. I think a heart or something.
Yeah, letting us know that Armos Knights had a full heart container.
Well,
Pretty even.
I will ask did anybody find another sword over in Village of Outcast or something, since I never actually went there?
The rest of the restream found a third sword on Purple Chest, actually.
Yes,
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
was a good sword. I liked it.
Yeah, I probably spent the time that I saved by skipping Village of Outcast and Smith Chain, just doing some basic searches for my third sword. Because I opened the chest in Upper GT, basically full cleared ice, just because it's so quick.
Yeah, it's since Icebreaker is so fast. It was also I should have gone to Hype Cave first, because if I did go to Hype Cave, I would have found the fire rod, and I would have been able to clear Cods there a bit faster. But nevertheless, it was still. I felt that going into Ice Palace first at that point. Did you do Swamp Palace first or first Ice Palace at GV?
I did Swamp first. After I got my hammer out of my fire, I finished Desert, and then I ran over and finished Pod, and then I fluted to Link's house and did Hype Cave into Swamp.
Okay, yeah, I went, I believe, Fire, Desert into Ice Palace, into Swamp, into Pod. But yeah, finding the fire rod there put me in go mode, and I was like, do I really want to do some more checks? Because I only had the Master Sword at that time. But you were fighting with the Fighter Sword, I assume, when you did go mode.
Yeah, I got my Master Sword off Helmasaur right before I went to the Swamp area.
Ah, okay, yeah, thanks.
Yeah, depending on the order of operations here, you could have had that Master or Temper Sword a lot earlier than if you decide to just go clean up Pod.
Yeah.
Considering Pod was just most of the runners had already cleared it out. It's reasonable to expect that everyone's just going to leave it for later.
It's a choice. Like you can either finish bots. It's one item versus 10 or 8, depending on whether or not you hit go mode. Because it could have been an ordeal. Fire Rod could have been basically everywhere. Even on Laser. Even on Laser Bridge. Technically. Of course, not with key logic, but
set up in Turtle Rock, I think it could. No, Silvers were in Chomp Chest. Never.
Yeah, Silvers were there.
Yep, getting pushed into Silvers probably made things a little bit comfortable for you, GFE, with that search for a third sword.
That made me forget about all my sword concerns.
Yeah, finding tempered. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say the hammer location in this is, it was just rude. If they hadn't, you're not gonna want to go into Mire with just fighter sword and bow. It's not a fun concept to fight Biddy that way.
You could have had mouse swords.
I guess for other people that might have been different. But no, I went there, I got my hook shot, and I went ahead and checked Desert to make sure it was boot slot. And, you've got all those checks on the mountain. Why are you not going to go there? And so go full clear the mountain. And was there anything there? I feel like there was something, but I can't remember. Maybe nothing important, though.
Where?
On the mountain.
There was a mirror on the mountain, that was it.
Yeah, I know
okay.
East Death Mountain, I believe, had only a boomerang in Paradox Cave, and the Dark Side, not much else. There were 30 arrow drops in Hookshot Cave, I can remember that. That's like, yeah, thanks for the bait, game.
I'm very happy I skipped that.
Michael, finishing up with a time of 1 hour 44:13. See if he can join in as well.
Oh yeah.
I will say, just before we started this race, I was commenting on how I always hate when it tells you boots are in the light world, and then, of course, they're going to be somewhere stupid.
The number of
Yeah, boots are in
locations.
the light world. They're just in Graveyard Ledge.
The number of locations that boots can be when you have that light overworld hint is not kind, because of how many different ways it can just screw you over. And Graveyard Ledge being that location you love to just leave for late, it didn't really bite anyone too bad. I think it got Michael. We'll have to ask him if he joins us here.
Yeah, I mean, I knew I was going against what most people probably did, because if you can do Smith Chain and K45 down in the south, that's 3 light world checks. Whereas I just went for that north route to check Bumper Ledge, Graveyard Ledge, which is the only light world check on that route.
Yeah, I went, if I recall correctly, I went down, I went south, went to K45 first, picked up found nothing there, then picked up the Smith, went over to Smith, then picked up the box, mirrored so I could do the magic powder check. So I got a lot of light world checks as a result of that. But, yeah. And then, of course, the only location left is Graveyard Ledge.
Alright, and I'll take this moment.
Oh, go ahead.
I'll take this moment to add Michael finishing in 6th place and welcome him into the conversation. GG, Michael.
Hello, GG.
GG's.
GG.
I think I made a big mess by not going Maya instantly. I was actually not sure if you can actually damage Vitreous with the fighter sword, so I did a bunch of other checks first.
You can, but it's a horrible fight. It takes
Yeah. I got lucky because I did the purple chest and there was a master sword, and I was like hoping, okay, if everyone did the obvious thing, follow the crystals, maybe no one is ending up with a master sword. But then unfortunately Helmasaur had another sword. So that plan, I guess you all had a master sword at the end?
I had tempered.
Okay.
Yeah, I was on master sword. I never did Village of Outcast or Smith Chain.
And yeah, another big mistake that I actually was noticing during Turtle Rock, I was like, okay, I do Turtle Rock because Mimic Cave is a light world check too. And then I was like, no, wait, it's considered Death Mountain, I think. So,
yes, that it is. And I do have to ask you now, what did y'all think of that Boots location then?
I was afraid that we're gonna get a pet or a green pendant. So, I was lucky.
I was wondering if anybody got baited by Green Pendant before going to Graveyard Ledge.
We did have one runner on the stream go to Green Pendant and pull the pedestal. So,
not me. It wasn't me.
Actually, we did.
They are not currently here. So we'll have to ask him about that when he does finish. He's about to enter Turtle Rock, so we'll probably be a few minutes.
Did we actually see, though, what he got from Green Pendant? I don't think so.
I do not recall. It definitely wasn't anything worth mentioning.
Pedestal had... I can't see it anymore. It was on the stream. It was on the stream just now, in the credits.
Yeah, the pedestal, I believe, was just a good old mushroom, which you then exchanged for sticks.
Yes. That's exactly what it was.
That was the fear that I had too. Like I do not want it to go more dungeons because the mushroom could have been in play too. So, yeah, it was like with me going up to Death Mountain and doing Turtle Rock first because I thought at that point Mimic Cave is a light world check too, and then pretty much only having one accessible check left. I was like, oh my god, no! It could be mushroom, it could be pet, it could be green pendant, and then thank God it was in Graveyard Ledge.
It can't be pet. I believe if it's pet, it gives you the hint it's on the pedestal, right? Or is it also a light world check?
Oh,
I'm curious.
That's interesting. I do not know.
We should ask.
That should be the documentation somewhere. I believe there is actually a list of what the hints are in terms of what they can cover somewhere. And yeah, with Blind logically locked by the hammer, the pedestal wasn't really in the conversation until you went to Hype Cave and Mire. So a lot of runners gave that a big old dodge, and it turned out to be for the best. So, outside of this seed, what's everyone's thoughts on Ambrosia as a mode? Is it something that you enjoy, or is it like, once in a while, but maybe not all the time? What do you think?
It's definitely one of my favorite modes. I like the fact that you get this hint, and it creates a mini game. Do you want to go for the boots immediately, find it, look for it, or are you going to say, well, it's in such a weird location that I'm never going to get it early, so I'll just start clearing dungeons instead? Although the standard strategy is probably go for boots, but I do like it, and it also adds that, okay, the boss always has an item. It makes going into pendant dungeons a bit weird in that regard. You don't really want to go into pendant dungeons because if you want the final item, you have to go all the way to the boss.
And I have seen a number of Ambrosia seeds, because I do play ladder, that have been very much not kind in terms of where item placements can be. Not even just on the boss, but some pendant dungeons being what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I want to like Ambrosia, but I feel like probably 95% of the Ambrosia seeds I've played are just awful. things always end up in dumb spots. Like this one was probably one of the nicer ones I've had. Like with me making that early Eastern play after Saha, I mean, I knew it was a pendant dungeon, and I knew there was going to be an item on Armos, but I was like, well, I'll just never have to come back there anyway. Maybe I'll find the items early, and sure enough, the first 2 chests were both items, so I could just leave. But I don't know, I feel like you get those boots hints, they're in the light world, and they end up being in somewhere dumb like Purple Chest or Graveyard Ledge, or like, I've had it before where they tell you they're on Death Mountain, and of course it ends up being Mimic Cave. So, I don't know, I feel like the seed's out to get me when I play Ambrosia.
I'm pretty sure that a lot of Ambrosia seeds also feel like they're going into Aghanim seeds, because...
Yeah, this one was a special case. Because if you could have gotten Moon Pearl, then you wouldn't have needed to do that. If you could have gotten Boots, then you wouldn't have needed to do Aghanim.
I know.
But putting Moon Pearl and Waterfall with Boots behind the Dark World area, you had no
GFE,
choice.
did you also check Sora before getting flippers?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Trying to remember. I think after I did Mini Moldorm and Ice Rod Cave, saved and quit, activated my flute, and went back to check Zora.
Speaking of Ice Rod Cave, how about that vanilla Ice Rod?
Why can't we have that in more open modes? Come on!
That's good.
I was like, wait, is this even randomized?
Oh man.
Yeah, good stuff. Alright, but I'm going to have to head off, so if you don't mind. Unless,
not
of course,
at
you
all.
have further questions for me.
No, I don't have anything. It's been a fun run. It's been one interesting seed, that's for sure. And everyone took a different path to get through it, and we all kind of finished with a pretty decent time. So take that for what it is.
I'm just looking at the renderer here, and he skipped the big chest, which is like the 93% play or something, and there wasn't a key in the crystal roller. So now he has to go back. Ouch.
Yeah, unfortunately, that big chest, if you don't have another key in your pocket, you're going to want to make sure you grab that. Because if it is your key, you're in pretty much a pickle.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and thank you guys for the commentary and the tracking today. Appreciate everybody who works on all this and makes this happen. So, GG's to you guys, and I'll catch you later.
All right, thank you very much, GG. I'd like to invite everyone again, once again, follow our runners. They're putting on a good show for us today and every day that we do one of our daily races. I believe tomorrow's... What mode are we playing tomorrow? Something else exotic,
we're
right?
Playing open.
Oh, so if you want to see a randomizer the way a lot of people like to play it, tune in tomorrow to an open seat. We'll get some crew together and have that covered for you. Also, a big thank you to Sulkle2044 and Mind of Me helping us out on the buttons in the background. Etzanar is still there, but he's in the middle of a thunderstorm, so he's gone quiet for us for a few. We don't have anything else on the schedule here, so we're going to stick with Professor Render as he goes ahead and finishes his run out. He's getting towards the back of Turtle Rock now.
And I'd just like to say, too, when it comes to any of the runners, obviously any of them may DNF or leave at some point. But big shout outs to our runners who decide to stick it out too. You know, it's a lot to go through this. It's a lot for them to go through even on a restream or attempt this. So GG's to all of our runners, those who have completed and those who are still running.
Yep, there are 4 runners still going in this race. We have had 7 people finish. I'll just go down that list really quick for everybody. We had Shippo, they're talking in chat right now. He finishes first place at the time of 1:32.24. And then Killer App 23 right behind him with a 1:35. Of course, GFE and Technoleak third and fourth. Orange Kupo with a 1:41 and change. Michael 1985 third on a restream with a 1:44. And Silva Hayes with a 1:54, leaving 4 remaining.
Renderer taking the attentional death. Might as well just get some hearts out of the whole deal. But it's going to skip out on the half magic.
Yeah, the half magic's going to be a nice item to have. It's not by any means necessary. I believe he's got at least 1 potion in his pocket. So, I mean, we see an empty bottle there, but I'm pretty sure he bought a blue before he left the potion shop the second time. And showing off the Samaria dash strat to double hit that crystal. So that's one of the things I like about having Ambrosia as kind of a, I don't want to say it a perennial mode, but something that a lot of players will jump in on and play here and there. It is currently a mode in the ladder as well. It kind of encourages a little bit of outside-the-box thinking. Because when you do have a dungeon like Misery Mire that you are guaranteed 1 item in the front and 1 item on Vitreous, Vitreous of course has its own Samaria requirement to get to, and not an easy fight by any means.
Right. You know, this seed was just... It was a lot for our runners. It really was. The moving around for everything. Just the overall just... Oh boy. But with this, Renderer will be done with Trinex, and then we'll be going into GT.
Now, we already saw one difference in routing that I noted off the bat. GFE did the Dark Magician strats, went left and then right to Hope Room. Technolink found a key in Hope Room and went right to Compass Room and found his big key a little bit faster. It'll be interesting to see how Professor Renderer chooses to tackle this.
Right. I mean, usually when I go through GT, the path that I usually like going is I'll go by Hope Chest, and then I immediately go left side. That's just something that I personally like to do. But we will definitely see what Renderer decides is going to be his best option.
All right, the tower is open and Professor will climb. Let's see what he decides to do. That looks to me like a setup to go Hope Room right, and he's going to find his key very early as well. That's got to be a good feeling. Oh, is he doing this for the memes? Professor Renderer on our stream is going to give us a tile room check.
I mean, at this point, you know, and I understand what's going through his head is, listen, you know I'm not going to have a good time, but you know what? I'm being restreamed right now, so I might as well show off, what was here in the tile room.
yeah, outside of the competitive nature of everything, just have fun with it at the end of the day. Everyone else, you're watching the board on race time, you see people are finishing left and right. You know what? I'm on stream. I'm going to give the chat something to talk about.
Right. And we got a piece of heart. Okay.
That's something
So
to
that
know.
was-
He has 17 heart containers. No one else on the restream finished with more than 14.
You know, I do have to say though, I am also one of those people where, you know, if I was running this, I would definitely be, you know, I know I'm not going to finish first, but if I'm being streamed, listen, I'm going to show you guys where everything was. You know, I'm just going to get that done a little bit faster for you.
Having a little dance with the Gibdos there. And there's the second block and into Compass Room, where we'll find a big key.
And now we just need one small key. And then we have access to top.
Oh, he's going to bank that there's a key up top? We know that there isn't. Uh-oh. Renderer, what are you doing, my friend? There's no key to be had up here. You need one key to climb the tower and guarantee you can get through.
Oh, that the amount of salt that's going to come through, and I think you and I have both experiences taking that gamble and then it's just not paying off.
I can do you one better. I burned a key getting a key on the left, or checking the torch rather, before I went up. Forgetting the big key in Hope Room. Don't do that, people. Don't do that. Speed Gaming Deutsch joining us with 71. Thank you for the raid, Speed Gaming Deutsch. This is the tail end of our daily race Ambrosia mode today for Link to the Past. Yeah, GFE had done DM strat, so he knows there is no key to climb the tower with, as we had all 4 of our chest keys before we went up. So this is going to be we'll see how Renderer reacts to finding out he can't get into Moldworm's room.
Oh, if it's anything like what I would be, it would be pure salt. Just a giant pillar of salt. I would continue, but it would be a giant pillar of salt.
An entire salt mine, perhaps?
One could say, you know, there would definitely need to be water afterwards.
Alright, we'll remind everyone with a little programming note. At the conclusion of this race at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, we will be airing the Dragon Warrior Randomizer Tournament here on Speed Gaming 1. That will be following our coverage here, and I know you grabbed a ferry, but don't take a death renderer, please. Well, that's not how he drew that up, that's for sure.
Ooh, he's gonna have to be really careful right now. Oh!
And the shooter giving him a shot in the back of the neck. There's the ferry.
Yup. Oh boy. That's not what you like to see, but he does still have an option of getting 2 other ferries. question is, will he have the magic to face Ganon?
There is a full magic pot right before Moldorm too, so I would say yes. I would say very yes with that magic drop.
Oh yeah, with that magic drop, absolutely. I'm actually surprised he didn't stick around and try and get the fairy, get a little bit more health.
And he's paused to think about something. I think at this moment he realizes he doesn't have a key.
Yep, and that he's gonna have to do it all over again. Is he gonna try and risk it for the biscuit?
He's going for it. Or at least gonna see all these checks for him. So there is one key in this room that Mini Helmasaur, I believe it's on the left now, is going to carry it for us. So he'll just, I would say throw a pot, but the shooters have other plans.
And now he's just hoping that in that last chest, there's another key. Oof. Only to find out he needs a key.
And it's at that moment that Professor Renderer said, heck, nobody wants to climb Ganon's tower twice in a race, and called it good. So GG to Professor Renderer with a gutsy effort.
Yep. Solid GG on that one. Really can't blame that forfeit.
Just waiting for him to join us up here in commentary so we can ask him a couple questions about the seed, if he so chooses. There is Professor Renderer. GG, my friend. Hey, I think you forgot something.
I just
Yes.
put it up on the screen.
GG.
Forgot a key. All right, it's already. I shot my screen off. I said forgot a key. I don't need to like spell out that.
Yeah. It happens. I've done it. I think a lot of our runners occasionally in the heat of the moment, if you're just in a hurry to just go fast, sometimes you get bailed out, and sometimes you just don't have a key.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I probably should have kept note of where. I felt bad about just leaving the boots where it was. I know I had a feeling it was going to show up in Graveyard Ledge after doing the ped pull and also finding out there was absolutely nothing. And yeah, that was on me, honestly. What even is that? What? Oh, okay. I was just looking at my stream. I was wondering what the heck happened with it. But yeah, I really should have just kept note of where it was. I checked things where I shouldn't have done it, even though I kind of like picked up on it. I'm like, wait a minute, it has to be there. And I mean, to be fair, there's also Lumberjack as well. But I mean, in general, the scene kind of just was. It was kind of weird. Like at the start, it was. I mean, I picked up on the Agassi where it led to the flippers to Moon Pearl. I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. But after that, when I was still looking for the boots, I probably should have just kept note of it. And that's the problem I see with Ambrosia, really. I mean, and I go into spots where that I go into dungeons where it's so easy to get independent dungeons and clear them that it leads you to that where you have the last location stuff. I don't know why I actually like this game mode for some reason. I'm starting to hate it now because it leads to stuff like this.
Yeah, Ambrosia ends up being one of those pinball-y type of linear progressive seeds where you either love it or you hate it. In this particular one, the boots were just at a bad spot with only so many checks you can make in Light World, and none of them really attractive to no matter what kind of routing you were trying to do.
Yeah, it was just hard for me to figure out. I mean, if I'll be honest, I had the mirror pretty early. If anything, I really should have I should have picked up that lumberjack ledge, not lumberjack ledge, the graveyard ledge a lot sooner. I would have finished it out and probably had a better placement by then. But I ended up last locationing things where I honestly shouldn't have done it, and I was at the point where I was saying to myself, if Turnwalk is Ether, I'm just going to call it straight up. I don't care. I'm calling it straight up. I mean, unfortunately for me, much to my dismay, it was Bumbo, so I didn't have the leisure of coming in earlier than I should be.
I don't recall where Ether was. Only one of our runners on stream found it, and that would be GFE. Chat, Etsidar?
That's actually a really good question. It was, it was Desert Palace.
Oh,
Yep.
so it's on the left. It wasn't the left side then.
It was right side. It was right side first chest. Instead of going through the.
I meant right side. Yeah, I get my cardinal directions all mixed up.
You know how many things I called backwards on this seed? Exactly the opposite of what I was intending to say.
Yeah.
It was one of those seeds for everybody here.
Yeah. It was a rough seed, but you know what? GG's for sticking it out, And I mean, we got to see, what was on PED. We got to see a lot of things. So, I mean, there's just that. The question still is asked, though. Where was the final sword? And I'm still going to say it was probably still in GT, past the other Armos that are in GT.
Mm-hmm. I didn't care. I was happy with enough of the tempered sword. If I wanted to play it out a bit further, if I wasn't too trigger happy on the mirror and to get the other key, I would have finished it out. But again, I was very trigger happy with that. Yeah. And this scene was kind of weird all the way through, and I'm starting to realize why most people are starting to hate Ambrosia now. Probably should stick back to open more often, or standard random swords.
You know what I think it is? I think Ambrosia is one of the ones that you mix in every once in a while, just to kind of have fun. But it's not one that you primarily focus on.
That explained to didn't tell Big Dunko but the ladder, because he runs that pretty much every single time on the ladder.
Yeah, the ladder, Ambrosia is a perennial mode. I believe we're going to keep it as a normal mode for Season 3 even. So if you like Ambrosia and you like competition, you can go check that out as well. But we'll be here with our usual rotation of various modes, including the Ice Rod hunt we had last week.
I don't know if they're ever doing that anymore, but I can't really tell. But it was a fun one overall. Personally, I'm looking forward to Thursday with Map Compass Shuffle. I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
Yeah, and also the Boot Start open mode Friday, bringing back that Fast Friday from a couple months ago. But Yeah, GG's to GG's to GFE, Michael and Technolink. Thanks to comms, trackers, and restream and such. And that I'm probably gonna I actually have I think about 10 minutes before I have to go out to golf, so I gotta get ready for that now.
All right, well, GG again, Renderer. Have fun on the golf course. Get a couple eagles for me, all right?
I'm not skilled enough to get eagles.
You say that now.
No, I'm still not skilled about it. All right, take it easy.
Later, Renderer. GG's, man.
GG.
And once again, thanks to all 4 of our runners that voluntarily opted to restream for us today on this daily race for Ambrosia mode. And Etinar, I'm going to toss it to you for closing remarks.
Thank you. I would still like to give one last shout out to all of our runners today. Renderer, GFE, Technolink, and Michael. Thank you so very much for volunteering for the restream, to showing us some skills and some other things. Shout out to Zeru, my other co-commenter, and thank you once again very much for helping me out during the early parts of the stream today. Shout out to So Cool 2044 and Mind of Me for being our trackers. Ladies and gentlemen, that is going to be it today for our restream. You can catch us back here tomorrow, actually. It's going to be tomorrow evening, 11 p.m. EST. We're going to be doing another run. It's going to be an open run. Everybody, you have yourselves a great day, evening, morning, night, wherever you are. Have a good one.